Hey, welcome to part 2. No. Welcome to the behind the scenes of a part 2 video. And you will notice that this time I actually have exactly what I'm doing on screen right now. And this is a perfect example of what I have to look at from like 5 to 10 feet away all the time. So like last episode, I did say that I wanted to like show you guys what I was looking at throughout it. So now you can like see me scrolling through the script, and like you'll see that in some parts I actually change on the fly what I say, because I wrote the script on a way to like some kind of mission trip thing that's like a 4-hour drive away. And so I spent like 4 hours like pounding out scripts for 3 different videos. So that was a lot of fun, but now I have to suffer the fact that I barely edited anything. Okay, so first thing I have to do is sync that to what words am I speaking? I have to sync the screen capture thing to the audio on the microphone, because one's recording to Audacity, which is the software I use, and the other thing is just recording to some obscure file on my computer. So I believe the best way to do this is up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, so I've already warmed up my voice for the most part just by repeating my favorite meme over again. My name's Jeff. 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 So, I think we should be good to go. Okay. Actually, don't know what the song that this starts off with. Alright, I think we can actually start recording now. I'm probably going to cut out a ton of this, but alright. Picking up right where I'd left off previously, I got back into the swing of things by starting the portion of the track that goes over the fountain. I knew I wanted to help improve the atmosphere by having multiple parts of the track visible from anywhere in the park, especially in the courtyard. I ran out of breath. Why do I make these sentences so long? I'm gonna do that again. Oh, here's a fun fact. I actually have A New Hope, Star Wars, playing on the TV in the background, and I have it muted because my mom was watching that before she left, and she didn't turn it off, and I'm just too lazy to like turn it off for her. Even though I've been running around the house getting the microphone set up. I'm rambling. I'm just gonna go. Okay, I can do it. I knew I wanted to help improve the atmosphere by having multiple parts of the track visible from anywhere in the park, especially in the courtyard. I made the track do a weird, twisty thing before going back down into the trees, which haven't been built yet. Yeah, I keep like... I made the track do a weird, twisty thing before going back down into the trees, which hadn't been built yet. I'll scroll down. As I reached the end of the first coaster, I realized that I wouldn't have enough room to make the turn and connect the... As I reached the end of the first coaster, I realized that I wouldn't have enough room to make the turn and connect the ends of the track. Therefore, I decided to scrap the rest of the guideline and do a full 3/4 turn instead. I also figured it would be easier to finish the rough segments of the coaster and go back and close the gaps later. I also figured it would be easier to finish the rough segments of the coaster and to go back and close the gaps later, so that's why the last part of the track was finished so quickly. The last couple of segments required a lot of tweaking and adjusting to get just right. Somehow I had to orient the last segment in the same rotation and direction as the very first segment. I seriously need to like come up with some way to keep breathing while I'm talking. Does someone know how to do that? Somehow I had to orient the last segment in the same rotation and direction as the very first segment. I spent a good 5 minutes on that alone. In the end, I actually had to reroute the exit to make room. Fortunately, after that was finished, the rest was smooth sailing. I finished filling in the gaps and moved on to the supports. The design of the The design of the supports took a while because I wanted to get it just right. I excluded that process from this video because it was nothing but toying around with the design over and over again until I was happy with it. I swear this mouse is dying. I keep, like, it won't scroll down. I've had this problem forever. What did I just do? Okay. Since there's not much to talk about in this part, I'll discuss something else that was originally going to be a part of this game. You've probably noticed that the coaster cars are just sitting on the track. Well, that's because they were originally going to be animated. I used a recently created animation software to move the coasters along the tracks, and it looked fantastic. However, even though I was able to successfully render and export the animations, I wasn't able to get the actual engine working in time. Therefore, I finished the game without ever adding the animations. I do wish I could go back and try again, but I feel that the software isn't just it. Oh, come on, dog. Really? Oh, shoot, my parents are home. Alright, hey, I'm back. I had to stop recording because my parents got home, and I can't really record when anyone's home, or else the microphone just gets polluted a ton. But I'm back, so I guess we can continue now. It's actually been like 3 days since I recorded the last part, and I had to actually watch back to figure out exactly where I was in the script. So, I believe we are right at, since there's not much to talk about in this part, so, alright. Since there's not much to talk... I should have warmed up. Since there's not much to talk about in this part, I'll discuss something else that was originally going to be part of the game. You've probably noticed that the coaster cars are just sitting on the track. Well, that's because they were originally going to be animated. I used a recently created animation software to move the coasters along the tracks, and it looked fantastic. However, even though I was able to successfully render and export the animations, I wasn't able to get the actual engine working in time. Ugh, it's too early for this. Therefore, I finished the game without ever adding the animations. I do wish I could go back and try again, but I feel that the software just isn't reliable. I generally don't trust third-party and open-source software because there can be any number of issues that haven't been fixed yet. Maybe someday I'll try my own hand at building an animation program. You know, actually, I did design an animation software a while back, and I should do that. That'd actually be really cool. Alright, focus. Finally, it was time to move on to the second coaster. This one was much easier to build, both because of its simplicity and the fact that I had already gotten lots of practice with the first coaster. The design was based off of the Superman ride at Six Flags, featuring an almost completely vertical climb and then a roll back all the way to the other side. The third and final ride was certainly the easiest. I think I spent more time on the car than the coaster itself. It was a simple falling tower design and only required a few parts. The car was a different story. It wound up containing over 60 parts, which turned out to be a problem. I originally planned for the coasters to be animated, allowing players to Alright, just cut out that sentence. Since the coasters were supposed to be animated, I had to keep them compact enough to prevent the game. No. Man, this is why I write scripts. Alright. Since the game was originally going to be animated, I had to make sure that the cars were simple enough to be... Since the game was originally going to be animated, I had to make sure that the cars were still simple enough to properly render. However, the blue coaster was so large that the animation rendering program couldn't process the massive files. Ultimately, I combined a large amount of the parts to make it much smaller and faster. After recording myself building the fountain, I spent a couple of weeks without recording trying to get the animation software working with no results. I finally had to let it go and finish up the game as it was. However, I forgot to record it, so that's where this time-lapse ends. Out of everything I've made on Roblox, Wolf Gardens is my absolute favorite by a long shot. Not only because of the way it looks, but the fact that almost everything that could have gone wrong did, and it still came out looking great. 40 plus hours of work over the course of 2 months of design and development have led to this. And who knows? And who knows? Maybe I'll come back to it in the future and finish up that animation. Yeah, I still don't know how I feel about that last paragraph, because, like, I'm trying not to toot my horn too much, so to speak. And because, I mean, like, for something that I would do, it looks amazing, but, like, in the big scheme of things, it's actually not that incredible. Oh, well. I don't feel like rewriting it, so. Thanks for watching. Holy cow, this was fun, but I'd rather not take on... Thanks for watching. Holy cow, this was fun, but I'd rather not take on such a big project... Dog. Nikki, go lay down. Where was I? Holy cow, this was fun, but I'd rather not take on such a big project for a long, long time. Anyway, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and most importantly, comment to provide some of that wonderful feedback that I so desperately crave. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you next Friday. That was supposed to kind of symbolize that I just kind of worked forever on that game / double video thing. I think this actually might be the largest project that I completed. Like, just because I guess I can think of the game and the videos as one large project, which would make it my largest project ever completed. So, anyways, now for this outro. Thanks for watching. I still don't have a script for this. All right. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and most importantly, comment. Gives out that wonderful feedback. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you next Friday.